It's a winning strategy, right? If you were a family or an individual 5 years ago and you took your wages or you took your family, if you took your family assets, bought Bitcoin, and then started to funnel your wages into Bitcoin, you got 100x your money, you got rich, right? You, in many cases, extremely rich. If you roll the clock back forward 3 years, if you're a small company or mid-sized company, a company like mine, you convert your treasury into Bitcoin and sweep your cash flows into Bitcoin. Again, it's a massive win-win. We created billions and billions of dollars of shareholder value, right? We went from $500 million of dead money to $5.5 billion of Bitcoin assets in less than 24 months, right? 10x, our capital structure.
And by the way, sorry, Michael, to interrupt you, the brand MicroStrategy, I don't know if there is a study about it, has grown like exponentially. I mean, I never heard about MicroStrategy, and now everyone if you say MicroStrategy, everyone knows about it. So that's also interesting.
We adopted a new technology, and we are beneficiaries of it. Now, if you think about governments, right, you've got various institutions, right? You've got cities, you've got states, you've got federal governments, you've got public companies, you've got institutional investors. They're all different types of institutions. They all have inertia, and because they all have various governance requirements. The first country to do it will be a screaming winner, right? It's a no-brainer, right? Especially if you had your own currency. So if you were a small country and you were able to print your currency, buy Bitcoin with the currency, right? The right play here would be, I in essence buy $10 billion worth of Bitcoin, and I announce it, right? And it goes up by a factor of 10, and I make $100 billion, right? If you were a country with exports, right? If you were an oil exporter, if you start to price your oil in Bitcoin and you buy the Bitcoin and then you funnel your cash receipts, right, your cash earnings into Bitcoin, then you would be in essence plugging your economy into the Bitcoin economy, taking a Bitcoin standard.
Yeah.
And what you would do is you would back your currency with Bitcoin, which is a deflationary asset, and your currency would be just like my stock. Like my stock was $120 a share when I started this, and it's dramatically appreciated because of us adopting a Bitcoin standard. In fact, we actually issued $1 billion worth of equity converted into Bitcoin, right? So a country stock is its currency. So a country could easily issue $1 billion of its currency and buy Bitcoin. So why haven't they done it? Well, why did we do it? We did it because our view was the situation was hopeless if we didn't do it. So find me a mid-size or a small country that thinks their situation is hopeless, that's got a leader that has the power to do something, then you'll actually get your first serious Bitcoin adopter. The challenge with, say, El Salvador is they don't have their own currency. If on the other hand, if Turkey printed lira and bought $10 billion of Bitcoin, the lira would be backed by, the Bitcoin, and that's a different situation. So that could happen in the UAE, that could happen in Saudi Arabia, it could happen in any exporting country with a currency. But, the question is, governance of the country, like how many people are involved to make that decision. And it's like, and how bad do you want the money? And then how afraid are you, right? Like when we first bought Bitcoin, there were plenty of conventional people in the media and conventional investors that thought that was somehow, a character flaw, or we should be castigated or attacked for it. And, rather than, even after we made billions for our shareholders, we never really got recognized. The only view was, you risk the shareholder money. Well, we made them billions and billions of dollars. But you should, and today the debate would be, I've been invited to business schools after, Monty, this is interesting, after we made all the billions of dollars, after the bet turned out to have worked, we go into business school and every conventional student would look at it and say, well, you shouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. If you took a vote, the vote would be 95% against. Even
Really?
after you know it worked, 95% of the people would still not do it, knowing that it would work, because most people just live in a very conventional world where they are afraid of unconventional things. And so the conventional thing is you adopt U.S. treasuries and currency derivatives as your treasury asset. And what does it take for you to do something unconventional? Well, in a war, if you don't, you're going to die.
Right.
Okay, so I think you will see someone do it. Whichever country does it. I mean, I could name 20 countries off the top of my head that could make $1 trillion if they did it. $1 trillion. It's worth $1 trillion to do it. However, I just illustrated you. I show you a list of conventional B school students, and I told them you can make $10 billion if you do this. Would you do it knowing that you'd make the $10 billion? The answer is no. Because why? Because I'd be criticized.